Welcome everyone. Great to have you with us for our webinar today. In today's session, we'll be walking through some of the ways you and your organization can get the most out of NetSuite as an ERP system. My name is Matt. I'll be your host for today's event. Before we get started, let's go through our housekeeping items. So today's webinar qualifies for 1 hour of CPE credit. To get credit today, make sure to remain logged in for at least 50 minutes and respond to at least 3 of our poll questions today. We'll conduct 6 polls throughout today's webinar. So as long as you respond to at least 3 of those, you will qualify for CPE credit. If you do qualify for CPE credit, you can download your certificate from your Incorsa account, and that will be accessible starting 1 hour after the webinar concludes today. Should you have any questions about the polls or CPE, you can reach out to us at any time in that questions box. We'll be happy to help you and interact with you, or offline at support@incorsa.com. You can download a copy of today's presentation from that handout section in your pop-up GoToWebinar pane. Just know that if you have any issues downloading it on the event or you forget to download it during the webinar, we also attach it to your Incorsa account so you can download it there at any time. Our session today will be recorded, so by signing up today, you'll have on-demand access to the recording, and we'll post that recording to your Incorsa account at some point this evening. As always, we'd like today's event to be interactive, so as you have questions, feel free to submit those in the questions box. We'll keep an eye on the questions and try to respond to them as time permits. We'll also try to reserve a little bit of time for Q&A at the end of today's session. If we don't get back to you on your specific question during the webinar, someone will be sure to follow up offline. And feel free to head on out there now to the questions pane. Let us know where you're joining from today, so that lets us know that you know how to interact with us, and we'd be happy to give you a warm welcome. Today's webinar is brought to you by goVirtualOffice. goVirtualOffice is an award-winning NetSuite provider helping companies enhance productivity, improve efficiency, and grow profits by unifying, simplifying, and automating business processes. Joining us today from goVirtualOffice is Amber and Jackie. Amber is a NetSuite functional consultant. Jackie is a professional services administrator. They both have a lot of valuable insight on the NetSuite ecosystem and how to get better value out of your license. Amber and Jackie, thanks for being here today. I will turn the presentation over to you.
Thank you for that introduction and welcome everybody. We are thrilled to be here to unpack the mysteries of NetSuite. And just a bit about me, I'm a former NetSuite administrator from the wholesale manufacturing space, and a few years ago I turned consultant. And so I've been in some of your shoes, whether it's evaluating a new system or translating your existing contract to see if you're getting the best bang for your buck. Jackie, do you want to give a little intro?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Jackie. I am the professional service admin here at GVO. I know a little bit about the additions, modules, tiers, things that you may have upgrades on or tier upgrades on. So I can give a little bit more information about that, and I look forward to providing that.
Awesome. So here's what we're hoping to have you walk away with today. So we're going to talk through some licensing, some ecosystem players, your add-ons, and then renewal strategies. So these 4 pieces are all intertwined in understanding how to get the most out of your NetSuite system. And again, that's whether you're deciding if you want to get NetSuite or if you're already using the system. So you can see here on our learning objectives, we're going to go through again those tiers specifically. Who works within the NetSuite ecosystem, maximizing your account and getting the most out of your NetSuite contract. And then we have some recommendations about your renewals and negotiations during that process. All right, Matt, looks like we've got our first poll.
Great, thanks. Let's kick off this first poll question that has been launched. That should be up on everyone's screen. So we're getting a sense of who's in the audience today. So which of the following best represents how your organization conducts business? We have manufacturing, wholesale distribution, retail, including e-commerce, business services, or other. If you select other, feel free to drop that into the questions box. We'll keep an eye on that. And we'll shut this poll down in about 10 seconds. Thank you everyone in the audience for your quick responses. We'll shut this down here and take a quick look at the results. So Amber and Jackie, we have a pretty good mix out there. Certainly a lot of people in business services, a lot of people manufacturing, other. I look at the other, we got banking, oil and gas. So pretty good mix out here in the audience.
Awesome. All right. So when you're working with NetSuite or other providers or partners within that ecosystem, it's often difficult to tell who's who and who is the originator versus what are these different partners and what can they kind of work with me on. So Oracle NetSuite is the publisher of the NetSuite software, so they've created it, they've managed it. But then you have these other partners types. You've got solution providers and then alliance partners. So a solution provider can actually resell the NetSuite software and then also support that software after, implementation, as well as you have alliance partners. They are not resellers, but they can support the software, and oftentimes they are aligned with, micro verticals. Then you have something called a partner of record, and that's either your NetSuite Direct or your solution provider. And what this essentially means is who sold you NetSuite. If GBO, our company, were to sell you NetSuite, our organization would be marked as partner of record in your account. And we're kind of that middleman between NetSuite Direct and your business to kind of help with assisting in escalating issues and things like that. But essentially, the partner of record is just who did you purchase that software from. And a quick note on that, alliance partners cannot be partner of record, again, because they can't sell you the software. So in those cases, if you work with an alliance partner, NetSuite Direct would likely be your partner of record. And then within the SuiteApps or Suite Cloud Developer Network, these are considered kind of the third-party integrations, things such as Avalara, and they strictly work to develop the SuiteApps or other integrations within NetSuite, but are still separate from the publisher, Oracle NetSuite. Another call out quick on the partner of record is those whoever is your partner of record, if it is a third party, such as a solution provider, they can help you with escalating support cases to NetSuite support, and then they can also assist you with the renewal process that we're going to talk about a little later. So going just a little bit deeper into the different partner options, solution providers specialize in the end-to-end implementation of NetSuite, which includes, your initial consultation to then post implementation or post go live support. So there's two different areas. You've got US-based providers and then Europe providers, and this piece is helpful just to identify where you would want to look for that solution provider based on your company's location. And then you've got the expertise. Oftentimes, solution providers are a little more of generalists that understand the system, but some do focus on specific areas or have a guided focus. And then solution providers, this is the biggest factor. They represent you and they can work with NetSuite on your behalf. So they can advocate to NetSuite for, again, those support cases, renewals, modules, pricing, and we can be there as like that middleman to assist with any communications or questions and things like that. And then the other piece here is that working with account managers. So we don't actually speak directly with Oracle NetSuite itself. You will receive an account manager through NetSuite. So whether you've purchased from NetSuite Direct or through a solution provider, you will have a NetSuite dedicated account manager. And so if you guys are on NetSuite, one of the things is how many times have you seen that error that says, please contact your account manager? This is what it's referring to, that NetSuite account person. But solution providers are working with that AM through all of these different processes and even working with them for those errors and things. Oftentimes, these solution providers are the go-to for implementations because of their, proven track record. NetSuite actually has on their website that over 60% of their implementations are performed by partners, just again, because of their reliability in their delivery. And then on the other side, we've got the alliance partners. They're again very similar as far as the geography and expertise for solution providers. Oftentimes, they are a little bit more focused in on a certain area or vertical. But one of the major callouts here is um, the alliance partners, since they don't sell the licenses, you would have to manage two different relationships. So with solution providers, you talk to that solution provider and then they can go to NetSuite. Whereas with Alliance, you would be working with your Alliance partner and then also working with NetSuite for the two different relationships and what they can kind of offer for you. And the other piece of this is they don't assist within the NetSuite renewals. So when you're evaluating whether or not you're going to get NetSuite, a lot of times you'll contact NetSuite first, and they'll recommend an alliance partner that could provide those implementation services. So this is a really good approach because NetSuite has great relationships with alliance partners and could recommend one that would align with your industry experience and things like that. But then on the flip side, you may not be happy with that choice or someone that doesn't necessarily fit within your culture. Plus, you have that secondary relationship to manage. But again, they are another solid partner for implementation and ongoing support, but cannot really assist you during your renewal process. We've got another poll.
Great, thank you. This is poll question number 2. That has been launched. That should be up on your screen now. And you can select multiple options here for this poll. So what additional support or resources do you think would help your organization maximize its NetSuite investments? We have customized training and system health checks, shorter subscription terms, fewer SuiteApps installed, reduced partner of record involvement. So we have quick responses coming in from the audience. We will keep this poll open for about 10 more seconds. Okay, thank you everyone in the audience for your responses. Let's go ahead and shut this down and take a quick look at the results. And a lot of people out there saying customized training and system health checks seems to be a popular vote here.
Yeah, that is a good one to be looking for to maximize your investment. Again, those alliance partners and the solution providers, as well as NetSuite themselves, can offer those trainings, demos, and all those different support options as well.
Great,
Oh,
thank you.
system health. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
The other thing I was going to call out for system health checks, there is a free suite app called Application Performance Management, or APM. This is something an admin in your account can install, and it gives you kind of a dashboard to review searches, scripts, records to see how they're running, or if you're running into concurrency issues and things like that. We actually had an account that installed that a few weeks ago to find out that they had all kinds of schedules running at 10 a.m. that was really slowing down their environment. So we were able to stagger that out through the day to improve their performance, as well as I think we scheduled 2 overnight so they wouldn't impact users during the day. So again, APM, Application Performance Management.
Great, thank you. Go ahead and shut this poll down.
All right, so next up we've got additions. NetSuite has the 3 different editions that they offer. We've got the Starter Limited, you've got Mid-Market, and then Enterprise. So with Starter Limited, it's a maximum of 10 full access users. It's oftentimes best for smaller teams, smaller companies. Then you've got your mid-market, where I think a lot of companies end up because it's a maximum of 30 user licenses. And then it's really great if you have more than one legal entity, or if you might have up to 100 employees. So again, kind of that medium-sized business range. And then you have enterprise that is for over 1,000 user licenses and is really great for large companies with maybe multiple legal entities, or you're looking to have an edition that can grow quickly with your business. Jackie, I think, were there some things you wanted to add to that too?
No, that was on point. Like you said, a starter edition is for small businesses, usually up to 10 to 15 full users. You'll see single entities, basic ERP, and optical CMR capabilities. For mid-market, it's medium-sized companies designed for growing companies. Normally, you'll see about 15 to 1,000 users, but multiple entity support includes core ERP plus CMR, and often people use OneWorld for this one. And then, like you said, for enterprise, it's 1,000 plus users. For larger organizations, full ERP, extensive customizations, advanced global and complex needs.
Awesome, thank you. So getting a little bit more into the weeds with the starter limited edition. Again, it's designed for those small companies looking to move away from maybe QuickBooks or you're using spreadsheets, and it delivers that core ERP functionality. It focuses on kind of a faster implementation, simplicity, and then a lower total cost of ownership. So some of those standard functionalities, you've got your finances, financial management. You get basic inventory and order management as well as reporting. But again, this would be a case where it's very minimal. And if you would like to have additional modules for your specific industry, you'd want to talk with your account manager or partner to kind of get those added on. And then for mid-market, this is kind of like the standard edition, but expanded. Or I'm sorry, the starter edition, but expanded, and it supports the multi-entity organizations. And if you're kind of ready to grow or you're scaling and expanding your operations, you might need stronger reporting, maybe some deeper automations, as well as the support for some global operations. Again, it says here you've got that full body ERP, so it includes advanced financial consolidation as well as some intercompany accounting, again, because you're multi-entity. So you've got your multi-currency and multi-language support as well. Plus, you might receive, or you'll receive more complex inventory management and order management. And then you do have the users there where your limit is 30. Did I miss anything on that mid-market one, Jackie?
No, spot on.
All right, and then you've got your enterprise, which is kind of, again, that top tier. So it's tailored for those large scale organizations, and you're needing like full processing power, full scale automation, and again, that enterprise grade performance. It provides your highest data thresholds and is designed again for global and multiple vertical businesses. So one of the things here with, again, that the higher storage and transaction limits, you're going to see some of that as we talk later about the tiers. But it also has real-time visibility across reporting for departments, your different subsidiaries, as well as geographies. And then this one also comes with your supply chain management module. All right, so in April of 2017, NetSuite launched Suite Success. So there's a legacy and a Suite Success. And essentially what Suite Success is it just contains those pre-configured roles, dashboards, and it's a way for NetSuite to get companies up and running a little bit faster. So before this, or what is considered the legacy side of things, is the organization or partner would have to build out a lot of those configurations. So I've included some SKU comparisons here so you can see a legacy example and then a Suite Success example. That way, if you are on NetSuite, you can kind of determine which SKU you have in your account. So you can see Suite Success makes it really easy. It actually says Suite Success in the example. But I'm calling this out because, again, it gets your team going a little bit faster. Plus, it has those dashboards and roles that are already built out, which can again speed things up as well, help streamline things. I know sometimes we see where clients will assign admin roles out to users simply because it's a little bit easier. But with that Suite Success, you may have those separate roles already configured to assign to your team. And the other call out with this too is NetSuite is trying to transition those legacy SKU accounts over to the Suite Success. So they are considering it an upgrade because you've got some pre-configurations. But if you do have that legacy SKU in your account or you were implemented before 2017, I would recommend contacting your account manager to see if moving to that Suite Success would be beneficial and kind of what's available for your organization. All right, so here we've got just a quick call out on some additional modules and add-ons. We're going to go through some more common ones after this, but a quick overview is thinking of the additions that we just talked through as the foundation of the house. And then you'll want to identify your different rooms or modules to frame it out. Do I want, more advanced financials or advanced inventory management? Those are popular add-ons. Some of these that are listed here could be included in your edition, but if it's not, you can buy it separately. But it's important to review your edition components against any add-ons that you're interested in to ensure that you don't already have it within whichever edition that you've purchased. All right, so One World is a very common one. Again, it's when you have a One World account, your organization can have multiple subsidiaries or multiple legal operating entities. So this would allow for your different EINs and tax reporting. There are also capabilities for financial consolidation across those subsidiaries. And this is also ideal for um, companies that are operating in multiple countries. A quick call out here, though, is this cannot be turned off once it's turned on. In some cases, there are features and, again, the SuiteApps or modules that can be installed and uninstalled at your leisure as your business needs it. In this case, it cannot. This would require a new implementation of NetSuite. So make sure you vet this out thoroughly to know if it's right for your business before buying this. All right, so advanced manufacturing. So this is a really popular one. It enables the work orders and assemblies, as well as demand planning and MRP. Demand planning and MRP are very popular right now. I've done some configuration and training for about 3 of our clients in the past 6 months, and it's kind of different for every business, but it's definitely a popular one. And the due diligence note here is again thinking about whether or not your edition comes with it, and then which components you need. So one of the calls we like to make is being precise when it's either time for your renewal or any contract negotiations to say, what are you actually seeking? And ask that partner to provide you guidance on what's the best fit for what you need. If you're needing, demand planning, or if you're only needing a small part of it, ask them what options you have if you don't need the full gamut of what's offered here. Because that's one of the other pieces we're going to discuss later is that the role of a good partner, and that's someone that you can ask those questions to, and they can provide you with the answers or do that research for you and get back to you. Another one we've got here is Sweet People. So this is enabling human resources and payroll professionals to effectively and efficiently manage your employees within NetSuite itself. One of the key call outs we like to make here is working with your team to review your current HR processes or your current workflows for your HR team to identify those areas that could be improved upon or could be automated, and then see if using Suite People could solve that for you and your business. All right, next is a big one. We've got NetSuite Planning and Budgeting. So this is Oracle's planning and budgeting tools that they have configured for NetSuite. This module itself automates the intensive planning and budgeting processes that many businesses have, and it means that you can do some what if scenario analysis, as well as you can create multiple of those scenarios, as well as generating your financial and management reports. One of the things here is you can see it's a lot of we can pre-build and we have customizable models, and it can be automated and help your team. But with that comes intense configuration and setup. So be sure to thoroughly discuss with your team and your account manager if this option is a good fit for your company. If you have a good internal process for how you're planning and how you're budgeting, find those gaps, find those areas where, hey, would this fill that gap? Or is this something that we could automate? Because the configuration and setup for this is pretty intensive, and it would be really great and useful for the team to give you that advanced budgeting that they would need. All right, we've got NetSuite's Analytics Warehouse. So this is a fun one. This is NetSuite's actual like true data warehouse platform. And the part about this that I like is it's data that's already connected to your NetSuite account. And you don't have to export it out of NetSuite and then load it into another system, which oftentimes results in someone accidentally hit a number, you've got some user errors in the Excel, or which file did we use last time, and things like that. So this tool allows for the immediate real-time refresh because it's coming straight from your NetSuite account. It also provides the tables and the charts to view the data, not just kind of how like a list view or things like that. And again, harping on it's straight from NetSuite. You can drill down in here as well to see those transaction level details. And the piece there is that role-based access. So you can set up roles and permissions within the analytics warehouse itself. And with that piece is the fact that non-NetSuite users can also access the data here because the warehouse itself has its own roles configured. So I like to call that out again for sensitive information or things like that. You wouldn't want certain users to be able to see certain information. The role configuration would be separate in the warehouse. Got another poll.
All right, great. Thank you. It's poll question number 3. It should be up on everyone's screen. So the question is, describe one area of your NetSuite account that could benefit from optimization. How would you address it? So we have user adoption and conducting targeted training sessions, increase contract length without review, delete all unused features, change the partner record frequently. And Amber and Jackie, do you find it's kind of common? I know one of the options here is delete all unused features, where you go in and help a client or an organization and get in there and realize they have a bunch of features within their NetSuite account they're just not using and they don't need them.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure I would like you don't even have to look at the features. You can look at saved searches and roles and forms, and we do a lot of field analysis as well because if you've got custom forms with countless custom fields and it's kind of slow to load a record, you can go in and do some analysis to say, well, we've got 25 fields, but we're only filling in 7. So do we need those other ones? But yeah, definitely the removal and kind of cleanup of searches, anything unused will only increase the system's performance.
Great, thank you. And we'll go ahead and shut this poll down, take a quick look at the results, and a little bit of a mix out there, but a lot of people saying user adoption and conducting those targeted training sessions. Again, a lot of people, we were just talking about this too, deleting unused features seems to be a popular choice here as well.
Yeah, the user adoption one is definitely big in targeted training sessions. Again, I mentioned kind of working with some clients recently on demand planning and MRP. I think for each of those accounts, I've had 3 to 5 training sessions because again, it's very, I wouldn't say complex, it's intensive. You know, you're touching a lot of parts of your account and it's a very crucial part to the business. So any of those targeted training sessions are valuable to kind of, I've heard somewhere you have to hear something, 3 to 7 times before you actually get it to stick with you. So I'm glad to hear everybody's kind of looking at more training and getting their team up to speed on things.
Yeah, thank you. We'll go ahead and shut this down.
All right, so next up we've got the tiers. So we've kind of already talked through the additions, but there's also tiers, which is just the other piece of the buying process. So within the tiers here, you've got some different support tiers. We've got basic or premium, and then NetSuite has been offering now some ongoing support that's a separate subscription. So every NetSuite contract gets the basic support tier kind of out of the gate, but it's very limited. They have you can see that P1 and to P4, those priority levels. So NetSuite has those case priority levels, and they're assigned for their team to gauge how severe this issue actually is. But it's also because with the basic support, they'll only look at a proven defect or, hey, my system is, I can't log in, it's down. And then the other piece with the basic is there's under support and Suite Answers and all that, there's an online case submission, and that's the only form of communication on the basic level that you receive. Premium's a little bit better. You can see it expands on the priority levels, and it also expands on the communication methods. But premium is based on the percentage of the software price. And then the last piece is it says ACS. It's NetSuite's Advanced Customer Support. This is NetSuite's ongoing support services, whereas the other types are kind of a break fix-ish type of support. This is a separate subscription, and they have multiple offerings. And the plug here for them is it's ongoing support and guidance, not again that break fix. All right, so next up we've got the service tiers. Jackie, did you want to lead this one, or you want me to give my spiel first?
You can give your spiel first, and I can piggyback up on it.
Awesome. Okay. All right, so there's 4 service tiers. You've got your standard, premium, enterprise, and then ultimate. So these tiers are designed to align with your business needs and provide that optimal experience at your different levels of scale. So each service tier includes different support as well as maximum users, file storage, and then monthly transaction lines processed. So oftentimes the most common tier is that first tier, which is standard. And what ends up happening is the way you get pushed out of the standard into the next tier of premium is when that monthly transaction lines is exceeded. That's commonly what we see. So the way that you get pushed into that is if the average of the last 6 months of all your transaction activity exceeds 200,000 transaction lines. So that includes your journals and all your other transactions. The call I like to make on this piece is if you are already on NetSuite and you might have some concerns about this, is you can actually check that transaction line usage under your billing information in your account under billable components. It'll show provisioned and then like current consumption or current used. And you can do a comparison to see if you're getting a little bit too close to that threshold. Um, and then the other piece of this is as you move up through those tiers, you can gain more functionality. So you can see like the Suite Cloud Plus licenses, concurrencies, Suite Cloud processors, CSV import queues. Um, and this ultimately just results in more processing power for your system. But there are additional ways to get those processing powers without going up a tier. In some cases, you can buy, like, example, Suite Cloud Plus licenses, you can buy that separately to help with concurrency issues. And the last piece for me is that NetSuite does have documentation under service tier structure that'll help kind of give you those specific values and help you determine which one is best for you.
Right. Yeah, I think you hit it spot on. I mean, if you want to go into specifics, standard tier, like you said, is a monthly transaction line of 200,000 for a rolling of 6-month average. They have a file storage of maximum 100 gigabytes and then a user threshold of 100 full users. And then it just goes up from there. Premium is a user threshold of 1,000 users, file storage 1,000 gigabytes, monthly transactions 2 million. Enterprise is 2,000 full users, 2,000 gigabytes for file storage, and then the monthly transaction lines go up to 10 million transaction monthly lines on a rolling 6-month average. And then there is the ultimate service tier. We normally don't see people at this tier, but if it does happen, just to let you know, you do have a user threshold of 4,000 full users, file storage of 4,000 gigabytes, and then a monthly transaction line of 5 million. Excuse me, 50 million.
You did say that you don't often see the ultimate.
Yep.
Which one is the most popular that you've seen?
Yeah, the most popular, you're beyond a standard, moving up to a premium. Most of the time it's with monthly transaction lines. We sometimes have seen the user threshold when people do go up to, 150 users, more of a larger business. That's when we'll see you have to move up. But those things can all be, like she said, we can run an auto report on your users, seeing if there's some users that have been open seats. Same with the monthly transaction lines. We can see if we can get it down for you. If there's some type of sales order, some type of return that is getting, extra entries. So there's things that we can do to reduce that, but you are getting a little bit more with a premium tier. So then you don't have to worry about going over those limits.
Awesome, thank you. We've got another poll.
Great. This is the 4th poll question. Should be up on everyone's screen. So are you getting the most out of your NetSuite account? Keep this poll open for about 30 seconds to collect your responses. And just touching back on that slide that we just covered, Amber and Jackie, it sounds like there's a lot of situations where organizations are consuming a lot of transactions when they're not necessarily needed. That's part of your process to go in there and identify ways to reduce the volume of transactions. Is that something that comes up on a frequent basis?
Yeah, my experience has seen, because it's the transaction lines, and oftentimes we don't think about the lines, we think of the transaction count. And you may say, well, I only have 50 transactions, that's not a lot. But if each transaction has 200, 300 lines, that's a little uncommon. But for journal entries, maybe not. Um, but again, that's where we see it the most often. And again, it's just I do recommend that you go out there and you look at that chart and you read. I think it also does tell you um, which transactions are included in that count and things to see what works best for your business.
Great, thank you. We'll go ahead and shut this down and take a quick look at the results. So a lot of the audience unsure here. I'm sure they're thinking about a lot of things as we kind of go through some of this information that Amber and Jackie are covering. Very few people in the audience say yes. So that's kind of telling.
Yeah, and to your point there, one of the call outs I'd make is, you don't know what you don't know. And it's a vast system. You've got not only what we're talking about here with the additions and the tiers and the modules, then you also have the third-party products and the SuiteApps and integrations. So one of those recommendations would be working with a consulting firm or someone who has NetSuite experience to be able to help guide you on that to answer that unsure and uncertainty to a firm. Yes, we are, and we're optimized and we're efficient.
Mhm. Great. Thank you.
All right, so next up, we're kind of getting to your that maximization, the business review, and different pieces like that. So for the business reviews, these are annual conversations with your NetSuite account manager or your solution provider and that account manager together to discuss all things your business. So your goals, ask them what modules you own and what modules you're using. Bring up what your pain points are. Say, I don't know what I've got. Tell me what I'm using and tell me what's available that'll fit with, my goals that I have for the upcoming year. And ask them how you're using what you already have as well. So if you are using something frequently, if there's, enhancements or add-ons or different things like that that could improve your experience. My biggest call here is just ask, the same way that you may not know what's going on in your account or if you're maximizing it. They don't know what you're curious about or what your business is interested in pursuing for the next year. So ask the questions, what are you using? What are you not using? And then ask for those recommendations. And, you guys mentioned the training and things. Discuss if you'd benefit from a demo or have them even earmark it to say, hey, maybe I'm not at my renewal yet, but I'd like to earmark this for my upcoming renewal. And then we've got the third-party products again. So from a GVO standpoint, we try to recommend the products that we fully believe in or that we've had experience with client success. So one of the call outs here would be it's important to review if how many times the bundle has been downloaded. So if you see something that's maybe like 5 or 10 or just a handful, maybe it's new, but also maybe it's been installed and then uninstalled. So the question would then become, would I like to take on the risk that's, related to a low install base? The other call out again would be with that training, try to get a demo with your solution provider if they've got experience or your NetSuite account manager. This would be another opportunity to see, that history of the functionality. How long has this been around? What have you heard in the space that I haven't heard? And then another would be those gotchas. So if they have heard about it or they've experienced it themselves, what are those gotcha? What are the pieces that, maybe are missing or could be enhanced in the future? All right, so again, maximizing that investment. So one of the other pieces would be, do you have a NetSuite admin? So on our side, we love working with admins or super users. They are typically they're either a dedicated admin or someone who kind of has grown into that go-to resource on your team. These individuals are really great to keep your organization moving, keeping those day-to-day questions answered so that your team can move forward in their workflows. And then leveraging those managed services. So whether or not you have an admin, it's really important to lean on your application service providers like a GVO because the consultants are there to be an extension of your business to fill those knowledge gaps with our industry experience as well as our NetSuite experience. So again, ask questions. And then the big piece here is data integrity. Be diligent with your data. So our team works a lot with ERP recoveries. So what that means is something got imported wrong, whether it was just a typo, anything if your data gets imported wrong, then the system doesn't match what your team expects, and that results in the loss of trust. So if you can get consistent data, it builds that trust and it helps with that user adoption. Also, the AI that you're seeing kind of being rolled out in NetSuite right now is based off of your data. So it's all kind of those building blocks. So a lot of people are interested in where AI is going. And so our recommendation is keep your information up to date, keep your system that, again, going back to source of truth, have NetSuite be source of truth and have that data be consistent and accurate. And then the other piece would be with that managed services or anyone that has admins out there would be understanding the record and data flow and how those relationships work and how one change can impact subsequent records or reporting later on and things like that. So while you're asking all these questions out to other people, some more questions for yourself would just be to think through, was it your go live the destination or the starting line? In some situations, the go live is the destination. Small business, you're getting off QuickBooks up and running, good to go. But in most cases, we see it just being that the system is functional, but maybe it's not optimized. Maybe there's still 5 clicks for something on your team's plate that could be 2 clicks. So ask yourself, are we finished or are we just getting started? And then what is your source of truth? So again, identifying where your data lives, and if you have multiple systems, it's even more important to define where you want the source of truth to be. And then just kind of going into that third question as well as trust is key with an ERP and getting your team to believe the reporting that they're getting, believe the numbers that they're seeing. So if they don't trust the system, that buy-in is going to be very challenging. And then number 4, what can we automate? So oftentimes I believe that automation is kind of the next phase after go live. Let's get you operational, let's get you set up, but then let's find those areas where we can customize something to improve your users' efficiency. And then lastly, we've got the dollar question here of am I spending too much? So small to mid-sized businesses typically allocate about 6 to 10% to IT and tech, and then you've got those mid-market to larger enterprise businesses that are 3 to 6%. So ask yourself which category you fall into, and then see if your spending aligns with these averages. Hey Matt, we've got another poll.
All right, thank you. This is the 5th poll question. It's up on everyone's screen. So which aspect of your NetSuite license would you like to learn more about? So pricing and billing structure, upgrading or downgrading license options, or all the above? Keep this open for about 10 more seconds to collect responses out there. Okay, thank you everyone in the audience for your poll responses. We'll shut this down, and looks like there's interest in both of these options here, with the majority saying all the above.
Well, hopefully this will answer some of those questions today and or get you down the right path to get any outstanding questions you've got answered. All right, so the renewal process, it's a fun one. um, so typically the way that the renewal process works is you get like 120 to 190 days out before your expiration, and your account manager or solution provider will reach out to review current usage. What are you currently using and what do you currently have in your system? And then what you can do from there is work with those teams to decide what you want to keep, what you're actually using, and then what you want to keep going forward, or if you want to change anything at that time. And that's where those negotiations kind of come into play. So it's your chance to be honest with where your business is headed and what you're going to need to accomplish those goals. Again, if it's more users, less users, modules, things like that. One of the call outs would be if you buy something and it's on your contract until it expires. So a lot of times the renewal area is a good time to really evaluate and say, hey, I was in year 2 and I added 3 additional users, but actually now I don't need them anymore. At that contract signing, that's where you can say, actually, can we drop those users off? Because they let you add during the contract phase, but at that renewal, that's when you can drop things down. Additionally, negotiating those terms so you can adjust, price, terms, length. So it's worth noting that a lot of times when you sign up for NetSuite kind of out of the gate, you're a new customer, they do offer some heavy discounts, but NetSuite themselves are kind of hoping to recoup that with your future renewals. So do be prepared for rate changes, which again is why it's important to say, did I overbuy when I first signed up? Did I underbuy? Kind of right side things during that renewal. And then the last piece is just working with the teams to get that signed. The big piece here is communication early and often. The sooner you can get your goals out there, your questions out there, the better your negotiations are going to be. It can be daunting. We know there's a lot to cover, but it's really important to give your business the best chance and not wait until the last minute. One of the other calls is seeking that win-win. See if that NetSuite account manager has any goals that they need to achieve, any things they need to sign up, get members to sign up with, um, and see if by adding it to your contract now, you could get a better rate. Also, this might be like 1.1 or 1.2 is having those right people involved. So whoever is going to have that final say on what they expect out of that NetSuite contract and are going to be the signing on the dotted line, they should be present in those renewal meetings to ensure that what's happening and what's being discussed is in fact aligned with the business strategic goals. So a lot of times if you have, an admin who's managing the process, but then that final signature gets kicked up to the CFO or CEO, they might have questions that didn't get answered because they weren't a part of the process. And then all of that leads into, know what's on your quote. And again, harping on the don't be afraid to ask questions. If you aren't sure at any stage of what you're paying for or what the terminology is that NetSuite uses, just ask. In my former admin life, I remember asking my solution provider at the time, I highlighted different things on my contract and was like, what is this? Can you provide more details? Because I'm not totally sure I understand what this is. And I was like, explain it to me like I'm a third grader, very simple. Was there anything on those renewals that you would want to add, Jackie?
No, I think you hit it spot on. The communication and getting an early start on the renewals is a great start to making sure that you have everything cohesive as you get to your license end date.
Awesome. All right, I think this may be our final poll.
Yes, thank you. This is the 6th and final poll question. So for this question, we're asking, what other third-party applications are you currently using or have been told to consider? You can select more than one option here. We have VersaPay, Sligo, RF Smart, WorkHero, or finally none of the above. If you have any other applications you're using that are not listed here, feel free to drop those into the questions box. We'll keep this poll open for about 10 to 15 more seconds out there to collect your responses. Okay, thank you everyone. We'll shut this down in 5 seconds. and share the results. And a lot of people out there are, it seems like you're using other third-party applications. Certainly some using VersaPay and a couple of the other ones here. So shut this down.
Yeah, it looked like some VersaPay, which GVO does support as a primary AR application, and then I saw some Soligo, which is great for integrations. The Workio, my understanding is for document management, just if you're curious what that is. All right, so it looks like we've got a little bit of time here if we want to go over some Q&A.
Yeah, that sounds great. And anyone in the audience, if you have any questions on anything we've covered today or on NetSuite in general, feel free to drop those questions into the questions box here. So one of the questions that comes up often is around the differences in customer service and the experience around a user might get when working with NetSuite versus an outside partner like goVirtualOffice. Amber, Jackie, could you touch on that, what that experience difference might be?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Um, the biggest difference I see in working with NetSuite versus outside support like a GVO or another solution provider is just that experience. So, with NetSuite support, we went through some of those, the basic or premium or things like that, but you're kind of just submitting a case and there's a lot of email back and forth. Whereas for GVO, our team is comprised of industry users. Like I was an admin in my prior life, and we have a lot of, manufacturing team members as well as financial uh, SMEs here. And collectively, the our team learns your business and your goals and your processes. So when you're reaching out to a solution provider, you're reaching out to kind of an add-on to your team that already knows how your business works. Whereas a lot of times with NetSuite, they're just kind of that base level to look and see if NetSuite is working as it should. Um, and GVO has been working with NetSuite for 20 years now. I think this year was our 20th year. So it's really exciting to see how all of our different team members have grown over the years.
Great, thank you for the insight. So another question that comes up often is we're in a period of a lot of technology advancements, including AI. So are you seeing any type of AI or newer technology that's impacting the way users are using or getting more value out of NetSuite?
Um, I would say, yeah, absolutely. I mean, AI is definitely growing. I would say that AI within the NetSuite space is still kind of at that foundational level. They're doing their best. They've got those descriptions, the sales descriptions and things that can kind of be enhanced, which is helpful. Sometimes we all get a little bit of writer's block. But I think on the flip side is, working with AI in the sense of assisting with formulas or for saved searches or things like that. A lot of that can translate over from what I've seen. The
Great.
caution I have there, sorry to interrupt, is we've had some inquiries about AI assisting in like month-end closes and things, and I would just be cautious there, impacting financial information. That way, you still need a person to double check that.
Yeah, that's a great point. Okay, we just got a couple minutes left, so if we want to move on, we think we got a couple wrap-up slides here.
Yes. So some key takeaways, again, ask those questions, whether it's in that business review, which is the key time to do it, or just any time. And then you've got to make sure that you're, using your resources to your advantage, leveraging your partner, your solution provider, your alliance partner, or even your NetSuite super users on your staff. And then planning accordingly during those business reviews or just kind of ongoing throughout the year. Do I have everything I need to get where I'm hoping to be at the end of the year, as well as the system itself should continuously grow with your business. So if you're seeing you haven't had any optimization or customization in a while, maybe it's worth an account review. And then we do have our Boost forum from the GVO side where we've got a learning center. Again, you guys mentioned some training, so we do have some training videos out there that your team can use that is free. There is a paid section as well on there, but most of it is out there for free, as well as just a free community chat to post questions and work with NetSuite end users and consultants. And then I'll just leave you with the role of a good partner or the role of a good solution provider is advocating for what your business needs and when you need it, adding those additional users, service tiers, guiding you through modules and training your end users, and then just overall supporting your team and your environment and optimizing it as your business grows.
All right. Well, thank you, Amber and Jackie, for your presentation. Great discussion today. We appreciate you coming on to present today's topic. Thank you to goVirtualOffice for putting together today's content, making today's webinar available. And thank you everyone in the audience who attended today. Hope you enjoyed today's event. Just to recap our housekeeping items from earlier, if you qualified for CPE credit, you can download that certificate from your Incorsa account starting 1 hour from now. Should you have any follow-up questions on today's content, you can reach out to us at support@incorsa.com. We'll also provide Amber and Jackie's contact information in a follow-up email. I know they'll always be happy to connect with you if any questions come up. And finally, once this webinar shuts down, there'll be a brief pop-up survey. We always appreciate your feedback on those surveys. We certainly take that into account for future events. Amber, Jackie, thanks again for being here today. Thank you, everyone in the audience, for attending. We look forward to having everyone back in the near future. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.